You are listening to the Hail Mary podcast presented by Dorm Room Sports. Hello, Dorm Room Sports fans. This is your host, Zach Grieber, here with a special announcement on tonight's episode. We have decided as a podcasting crew that we will be making the major name change to 4th&40 podcast. This will be occurring next week, and from now on, we will be known as the 4th&40 podcast. Now back to your normal listening pleasure of listening to me roast and shit on your least favorite donut-eating security guard, Mark Ayton. Welcome back to the Hail Mary podcast presented by Dorm Room Sports. Today is 4/26/2020, and you'll be hearing this episode on the upcoming Tuesday, our normal now release date. Please be sure to give us a follow on Twitter at Hail Mary Cast, and also please go give our TikTok a follow at Hail Mary Podcast. On this week's episode, we'll be talking about the last week's draft and everything that occurred during it and who we thought had a really good and really bad draft. It's going to start out with a little encounter.
All right, Zach, we're done. Shut up. Okay.
No, shut the fuck up.
All right.
If you like the show, please subscribe and leave a review on your
it's over.
Platform. And remember to check back in every Tuesday for the
All right, so now that Zach's done, let's hope we don't hear from him again.
Okay.
Okay.
So an overview of this episode will be...
No, dude, no need to overview. It's in the description of the podcast, dude. Let's just go.
We're going to give a little overview.
All right. So, welcome back, guys, to all of you listening. It's been episode 3. So we started our TikTok. We had made a nice little TikTok. You know, we're building a brand here, and we got Rug's little brother to do it. And Rug, you've never had TikTok or installed it until a few days ago. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So we get this text from Rug when we're setting up this whole TikTok thing. He says, "Whoa, I opened up TikTok and this fucking smoke show was going off. I can see why this app is popular." Would you like to add on to that, Rug? Tell us your experience.
Yeah, absolutely. The closest I had ever been to TikTok was you sending Jackson Mahomes videos in the chat and me pretending I didn't see them. So yeah, when I open up the chat, I see you told me her name was Addison Rae, right?
You said that, but
no,
maybe
you
I
guys.
did say that. Maybe.
I asked her. I said, "Who is this?" She's got like 35 million followers or something. You said it's Addison Rae.
That's right.
So I go into our Twitter accounts. I'm already like, holy shit, she's probably making bank. So I go on her Twitter account, and the first tweet she has, she's whining about like, oh my god, 2 or 3 people called me a whale, blah blah blah. And I'm thinking, you literally make millions making 5-second dance videos on social media, and your whole revenue stream is from interactions. And 2 people, probably from anonymous accounts, said something mean to you, and you're ranting into the world about it. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, TikTok, give us a follow on TikTok, and we'll have some good content for you.
I don't know why we're bashing Jackson Mahomes like he's an elite TikToker.
But we're going to go ahead and we'll probably we're just going to talk about each of our team's draft and how they went. We'll start with Rug on this because I know he has some choice words for the Ravens draft. So.
Yeah, that's partially accurate because the Ravens on day 1 started off great, taking Patrick Queen. Just a great pick. He's a great fit for their defense because he's really quick in space. He's great in coverage. He's a really good blitzing linebacker, which is a good fit. He's also, his undersized isn't a big deal because their D tackles will kind of eat up blockers. But then here comes day 2. It's like the 53rd pick. Denzel Mims, Julian Akwara at receiver and pass rush are both sitting there. We know the Rams aren't going to take him because the Rams are stupid and they took a running back. So I'm making fun of the Rams for taking a running back. So then, right before the 55th pick, I go on Twitter. I'm refreshing. I want to figure out, all right, who are the Ravens going to take? I see some anonymous account like, oh, the Ravens should take JK Dobbins. I'm thinking, nope, please don't take JK Dobbins. No interest in that. So I'm like, all right, it's not going to happen. Not worried about it. Then I refresh my Twitter again. I see JK Dobbins. Then again. And then again. And then I saw they're taking JK Dobbins. And I was confused. I don't get it. I mean, why? I don't understand why we're taking a running back. I mean, what are we going to do? Go from the first ranked rushing offense to the first ranked rushing offense in the league? It just made no sense. It's not even a knock on JK Dobbins. He's a great player. He runs really well out of that option offense. He's good at those quick cuts and quick jukes in the backfield if a defender blows up the read option and can make a guy miss. But if Gus Edwards can average 5 yards a carry, which he did in 2018 and even last year too, I don't see why we're taking a running back when we have a receiver, when we could take Denzel Mims or Julian Aquara. I mean, why didn't we just donate the pick to the NFL or something? Just ask a team, hey, do you want this pick? Because J.K. Dobbins, he might be a difference of maybe 10 broken tackles next season. I don't understand it at all. I did not like the pick. The Ravens ended up not addressing the pass rusher position in this draft. I think if they had taken Julian Aquara out of Notre Dame or Zach Bond out of Wisconsin instead of Dobbins, I think that would have helped them a lot more, even though they ended up addressing receiver and the interior line later on.
Yeah, Rug, I'm going to say I agree, just because I think the Ravens had obvious needs outside the hash marks, and instead they decided to add to the inside of the hash marks with a running back. A little early for me. Like you said, J.K. Dobbins is a great player. I think he's a great player, but just don't get it. And to add on to that, I don't like what's his name, the defensive tackle you took, Justin Matabuke. I don't like him at all. He it says whenever you look him up, he's 300 pounds. He doesn't look like it, and he doesn't play like it. He gets bullied all the time. That SEC competition was too much for him.
You know, it's funny you say that because I watched his press conference the night he was drafted, and he kind of just sounded. Remember the guy from The Longest Yard, Matuku? Remember he cried when he he broke in my nose or some shit like that. Literally, Justin Matabuke was crying in the press conference. He couldn't even get a word out. I'm thinking, really?
Goodness.
This guy's going to block Cam Hayward, or this guy's going to slide over and pick up Myles Garrett? I mean, because that's interesting you bring that up, that you worry that he's not physical enough, because I did read he's a good interior pass rusher. I know Pro Football Focus really liked him, but yeah, that's an interesting concern. And I think the Ravens like getting their D-line depth up, but I thought it was a bit of a questionable pick. I think the Devin Duvernay pick was great for the Ravens because, unfortunately, Marquise Brown, as much as I like him, if you breathe on him, he falls down. He's awful after the catch. So Duvernay is kind of going to be that reverse player. The guy catches those short passes down the field, and he still can be a burner. They'll probably use him in the backfield sometimes. So I like how they ended up addressing receiver, but it's really pass rusher that, like you said, that they did not get enough of.
Mm-hmm. I didn't hate the Ravens draft. I would have gave him a B. I think the Patrick Queen pick was a good pick. He fits well in your scheme. I like Duvernay. I like a few guys you got in the late round. But if we're talking A drafts, boys, if we're talking A drafts, you got to go to Big D, America's team. Woo!
That's horrible. That's
unnecessary.
If we're starting with Dallas's draft, you start at the first round. CeeDee Lamb, he's going to be a number one receiver. I personally think in about a year, he's going to be the best receiver on the Cowboys. Yeah. Run after the catches there. He's a little raw route running. Some of the best hands in the class. But that run after the catch, dude, man, he can run. He can run like a train. You move to the second round, you get a guy like Trey Diggs, who's going to come in and start day one at corner number 2. And he has a lot of potential to evolve into a corner number 1. And he doesn't even have the slightest idea of how to play corner yet. The slightest. He's just gifted. He's naturally gifted. And I think the NFL guys would be able to help him out. You move to round 3. Neville Gallimore. Great pass rusher. He's an interior pass rusher. We got our 2 run stoppers at defensive tackle and Dontari Poe and Gerald McCoy. Neville Gallimore is going to be that guy that comes in on third down at 3 tech and rushes the passer. I love that. Move to the 4th round. You get a bit of a project guy here, Reggie Robinson. He's 6'1", 4'40" kind of guy. You know, he went to Tulsa. I personally don't know that much about him, so I'm not going to sit here and lie and speak on him. I couldn't even find any games on YouTube because that's Tulsa. But, you know. You move to the 4th round. Tyler Biadasz. I call him Tyler Badass because I don't feel like pronouncing that last name all the time. I see a lot of smarts and a lot of strength to him. I think he's a little inconsistent at times in his pass sets, but he's a great run blocker. He is a road grader, and for a team that's going to have a light box thanks to CeeDee Lamb, and I think Zeke loves that pick personally. And then the
Is that the guy you sent the video of, Dave?
Yes, that is the guy.
Just absolutely burning down the sidelines.
By the way, that defensive tackle he knocked on his ass was Devon Hamilton, who went in the 2nd round. Just throwing that out there. 5th round, steal of the draft, Bradley Anae. I had a late 2nd round grade on this guy. Late 2nd round grade. I think he might have fell just because he's not that twitch defender. And I mentioned this in one of the podcasts about Epinesa, which he did end up falling. When you don't have that twitch at defensive end, you scare teams off. And I think that's kind of what happened with Bradley Anae, but he provides so much value in the 5th. He's going to come in. He's not filled into his NFL frame yet. He's not NFL strong. I think he can get a little stronger. He's going to eat a few peanut butter sandwiches and probably gain about 10, 15 pounds. And I think he'll be great for Dallas in the long run. And then Benucci. But the rest of the draft, I think Dallas pulled out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 day one starters, or 3 day one starters and 2 rotational D linemen.
That's very ambitious.
3 day one starters and 2 rotational D linemen. That's not ambitious. Neville Gallimore and Bradley Anae are going to rotate in day one.
Go ahead. Yeah, but blah blah blah. CeeDee Lamb is a god. That's the main takeaway.
I think Jerry Jeudy's the best receiver in this class, personally.
And you're wrong. So
we'll get into that a little bit later.
Stop talking about the Cowgirls, please.
Yes, please.
I mean, let's move to the best draft in football.
Let's move on with the team that had the real best draft in football, and that would be my Washington Redskins.
Oh, we sat at 2 and took the player we were supposed to take. We're back. Ooh. It's the 80s again.
Well, you really couldn't screw that up, but I like their day 2 and day 3 picks. We didn't have a 2nd rounder, but we got Sadiq Charles and Antonio Gibson on day 2 and 3. Antonio Gibson with our 3rd rounder. He's 6'2", 230, ran a 4.4. Just an absolute speed demon. We're going to put him in at running back and slot receiver. I really love that pick. I was kind of surprised we didn't go tight end there with how many we got, but we ended up getting Thad Moss as an undrafted free agent. And we got Sadiq Charles in the 4th round, a guy with a little bit of behavioral problems out of LSU, but I think we bring in a guy like Jason Peters as a 1-year transition guy, and we got that offensive line rolling again after we got that cancer Trent Williams off this roster.
Literally.
I want to talk a little bit about the Trent Williams trade because I think that was a win-win for both teams. Redskins, he was not playing a snap for the Redskins again, and the fact that we were able to take 2 picks away, a 5th and a 3rd round.
It was making the best out of a bad situation after Bruce Allen totally screwed us by being the worst GM in the history of football.
Yeah.
No, Dan Snyder. Nothing to do with it.
You're not going to see me talk nicely about Dan Snyder. He's a horrific owner, but at least he's steering the boat in the right direction now with Ron Rivera and Kyle Smith.
I want to go back to your tight ends comment. It kind of confirmed our doubts about this class, whatever happened this past weekend. I think you had 1 tight end in the first 2 rounds. And
Cole Kmet went to Chicago.
Yeah, that's also a terrible pick, by the way. I think I don't know if anyone has Chicago as one of their worst drafts, but we might get to that later. But the tight ends, obviously, like I said, they confirmed our doubts. They all fell to like 4th, 5th round. And I think Thaddeus Moss, that signing after the draft, was definitely a good pickup. Someone who definitely has some high ceiling potential. He has a lot of room to grow. He's a little raw in his route running and whatnot, but I like that signing for Washington.
Yeah, I agree. That was a great signing. I like the Liberty wide receiver, Antonio Gandy. Dave, have you done any research on him? But with the video I saw of him, he can run. He's a great route runner. He's got great hands. And that was, I think the value is there. You get those small school receivers, and they just have good track records in the past. And I really like that pick.
Yeah, I haven't done too much research on him. I'm probably gonna go back and watch a lot of these guys that got drafted in the later rounds, just because that's what I usually do after the draft. I like the move though. If he does have the potential, I do like that move. You give Haskins another toy to play with. You beefed up his O-line a little bit, and you kind of you're kind of saying to Haskins, all right, we helped you, now help us.
He's 6'4" and has a 40-inch vertical as well. So
Yeah.
Could you give us an example of a small school receiver who's done well in the past, Zach?
Well, maybe Antonio Brown out of
Good.
Central Michigan.
It's a good call.
Maybe.
All right. Little preview for later.
But
well, let's move on to our other 5th-round pick, Keith Ishmael, out of San Diego State University, the center there. Had the number 1 pass blocking grade in all of college football last year. Kind of a raw guy. We'll see what happens with him. You never know what you get with these 5th, 6th round guys.
All right. Well, I'd like to segue this into our next segment, which is which team drafted well, which team drafted bad, and I'm gonna say my
Luke,
team.
you're gonna skip over the Seattle's draft.
I was getting.
Yeah, it
don't
was so
blame him.
bad we're not even going to
The
talk
team
about it.
that had the best draft was the Seattle Seahawks. They had the best draft of the year. First round, Jordan Brooks, future Hall of Famer out of Texas Tech, linebacker. Could not be a better pick. Absolute
Take a
freak
shit
of
right now.
nature. Gonna be right next to Bobby Wagner. What could go wrong? Next,
Big 12 defenders.
second rounder, edge rusher, Darrell Taylor out of Tennessee. 8.5 sacks last year, second in the SEC. Absolute freak of nature. He just couldn't be a better pick where he was at 48. We had to trade up for him. We couldn't resist. He's just that good.
Fifth
Third
round,
round, Damian Lewis, absolute monster guard LSU. If you just look him on YouTube, you'll see countless pancakes, countless him just shoving players around like there's freaking children. It's just ridiculous. Next, Colby Parkinson, future Hall of Famer, Stanford. Absolute freak also. Could not get better than that. He's a great blocker, great route runner. And then we take, in the 4th round, again, we take DJ Dallas, great running back. We need another running back. I know it's a Seattle thing to do, but it was a great pick. And, I just don't think our draft could have been better. Now, for the worst draft, I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys as the worst draft for the year. Absolute terrible picks all over the place. CeeDee Lamb, bust. Trayvon Diggs, too tall, not fluid hips, bust. Neville Gallimore, Oklahoma, bust. Reggie Robinson, bust. Tyler Biadasz, bust. Bradley Anae, stinker, bust. Ben DiNucci, I heard he's okay. He'll probably take Dak's spot because Dak isn't a very good quarterback, and he's not even going to play this year because he's going to hold out for a contract. So we could see a little bit of Ben DiNucci next year, and we'll see what he's about. He'll probably be better than Dak in about a few months.
Absolute baller.
I mean,
So that's
Luke,
where I stand with the draft.
I mean, you won't
If
hear me say this
ESPN
very often, but Luke, you could not be more right on the Dallas Cowboys.
Thank you.
I mean, I was just going to say, if ESPN isn't calling you right after we post this, I don't know what they're doing.
Is anyone else?
Well, I did have
all
a
the
question about Dallas. You do make some good points about Dallas's draft, but I had a question about Seattle's draft. Is there a reason that Seattle passed on highly ranked Patrick Queen and highly ranked Josh Jones to take Damian Lewis and Jordan Brooks? I mean, maybe is it something about their philosophy as a team?
Well, for one, Jordan Brooks' coach was also Bobby Wagner's coach, interestingly enough, at Utah. So I'm sure he compared Jordan Brooks to Bobby Wagner. Also, KJ Wright has a cap hit. We need to get rid of him. We need a good linebacker who's good in the run game. That's Jordan Brooks. He's more of a run stopper.
I'd like to comment on a serious note on Seattle's draft. The only 2 picks I liked in their draft. Damian Lewis.
Yeah.
Damian Lewis I watched a little bit of him at LSU. He's that dude's a freak. He can knock people in their back pocket. And I think an underrated pick is DJ Dallas. Whenever I watched Miami, he jumped. He leaped off the screen. He can move. He has quick feet. He's one of those guys. He's like on the heavier side, but he's got that shiftiness in the holes. It's like that. I'll use the word Le'Veon Bell archetype, but he's not Le'Veon Bell. It's not what I'm getting at. It's just that archetype where like they're bigger, but inside the holes and those little gaps, they can make the linebackers.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the kind of guy Seattle. That's kind of the kind of running back Seattle drafts every year. I mean, look at Chris Carson. It's kind of the same kind of guy.
I think Seattle's mindset is, who can we draft that nobody's ever heard of in the first round every year?
Maybe they're gems. Sometimes, I mean, you got to be a jeweler to find the gem.
Yeah, Rashad Penny's really proven that theory.
Yeah, but you guys realize that the gem's still going to be there in the second round when he has a third round grade.
Doesn't have a
But
third
you
round grade,
can't
but he is
you
second
can't
round
say
grade.
that. You can't say that because if it is their guy and he's gone, they're gonna kick themselves in the butt for it.
No, but Zach has a point because the way the draft works, you shouldn't just be honing in on one guy. You should have a big board. So if one guy goes, okay, next guy on my big board. It shouldn't be, oh my God, I got this one guy I have to get in this round or I'm screwed. I mean, you don't watch film on 10 players. So I don't like that philosophy.
That's not exactly it, because we tried to trade back this year. We've traded back every single first round pick. We've traded it or traded back since 2011. So apparently we were on the phone with the Packers and when they wanted Jordan Love, and apparently they just it didn't go through. So we ended up taking. I'm sure we would have taken him at 30 regardless, which was probably still too early. But we were definitely trying to trade back for him.
Mark, do you want to give your best draft?
Yeah, my best draft is the Broncos. I loved their Jerry Jeudy pick. He was the best receiver on my big board. I'm surprised he lasted as far as he did. And I love the pick of KJ Hamler in the second round, a speed demon out of Penn State. And I loved the pick of Lloyd Cushenberry. He was my second best center, and they got him in the third round. I really loved that pick.
I think the Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb falling was insane. I mean, we have a Broncos friend who was talking about how they wanted Jerry Jeudy and they were actually going to be willing to trade up to get Jerry Jeudy. And the fact that he just fell all the way into their lap, that's crazy. And then Dallas getting CeeDee Lamb was stupid.
I almost forgot to mention my favorite pick of the whole draft, Albert O. 6'5" speed demon at tight end that runs a 4.4.
What were you gonna say, Dave?
Anyone you didn't like, Mark? Anyone that you thought was on on a serious note? Obviously, the Cowboys, good laugh. But anyone you thought probably had expectations for next year, and you think they just bombed this draft?
Yeah, the Green Bay Packers by a mile. I don't even know what they were thinking with their picks. Jordan Love in the first round, running back in the second. I mean, they were trying to do everything in their power to screw over Aaron Rodgers this year.
That's 100% the truth.
I have an interesting theory about that I'm going to get to when we get to that Jordan Love segment.
Rug, would you like to go next on your winners?
Sure. So yeah, my one draft I really liked was what the Arizona Cardinals did. I think the Cardinals' biggest weakness last year was definitely their defense as a whole. They gave up a lot of yards. And for them to get Isaiah Simmons at pick 8 after Carolina stupidly passed on him for a defensive tackle whose biggest strength is stopping the run, I think that's a great pick for them. I mean, obviously, we know how good Isaiah Simmons is. Super rangy, but really, too, they needed a tackle, and they got a first-round caliber tackle in Josh Jones at pick number 72 in the third round. And I think the fact that they could fill their two biggest needs with as good of a value as they got is just makes that draft as a whole really good. Even Lucky Fotu out of Utah on the D-line, Rashad Lawrence on the D-line at LSU, so they also solidified that position to help their lousy run defense. So I really love what the Cardinals did.
What about your worst draft, Rug?
Yeah, the draft that I really did not like was the Chargers. And not only did obviously we've talked about extensively why I don't like Justin Herbert, so I'm going to save that. But in addition, they gave up a second and a third round pick to trade up and take Kenneth Murray when a lot of people had Patrick Queen rated higher than Murray. And I just think that's such a dumb trade to come all the way up, give up 2 picks for a guy that there's not even a consensus that he's the best linebacker in the draft, or some even don't have him as a second best. And I really did not like what they did. They didn't have too many picks after that. And with the picks they did have, they really just didn't provide very much. They got running back Joshua Kelly out of UCLA. I mean, yawn. Melvin Gordon's there right now. Joe Reed out of Virginia is a wide receiver. I mean, never heard of Joe Reed. Just does not feel like a good receiver name. They did have one pick that I kind of like. KJ Hill out of Ohio State in the 7th round. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the best pick from this draft, to be honest, with how bad the rest of it was. He's kind of a sleeper pick that I kind of like, but other than that, I just hated what the Chargers did.
Well, actually, I want to correct you real quick. Austin Eckler's the running back now. Melvin Gordon's in Denver now.
That's a good call.
All right. Well, let's,
Dave,
anyone else have any thoughts on the draft?
I mean, I was going to go next, give my best and worst team. So let's go ahead.
Okay. I mean, we already know where you're going with your best.
How about you just go ahead and
I'm not.
be quiet for the rest of the podcast, Zach?
I honestly like
How about you
Dallas's
shut up and
draft.
go back in your place? Go back in your dog kennel. Luke will let you out when he's
Yeah,
ready.
yeah.
What are you say, Mark?
Anywho, Mark, thoughts?
No, let's get on with the podcast. I think we all know Zach's beneath me.
Oh, sure.
Do we?
But anywho, obviously I like the Cowboys draft. I think it was the best. But if I had to pick another one, I would say the Cleveland Browns hit a home run this draft. Obviously they're the skid marks of the league, and whatever they do in this draft probably isn't going to matter. But I do like the Jedrick Wills pick. He was my number one tackle. I thought he was going to go top 5. They got him at 10. I think he was the best tackle in this class by not a large margin. I think Andrew Thomas is right there with him, but still a great pick in Wills. They got an absolute steal of a rangy free safety in Grant Delpit. The NFL kind of soured on him because of his, I'll put quotations around this, tackling issues. He dealt with a few injuries last year, coming down to make tackles as a safety. Some nagging injuries can definitely bug you on those. And then you jump to the 3rd round, you get Jordan Elliott out of Missouri. He can do a little bit of everything in the trenches. He can rush the passer. He can stuff the run a little bit. He has a few flaws. He's a little raw, but they can work around that. And then they got what I would say too. I would use the word steals. And Harrison Bryant out of Florida Atlantic. He it's the Mackey Award, is the tight end award in college, right?
Yes, I believe, for the best tight end.
Yeah, he won the Mackey Award out of Florida Atlantic. He needs to fill out a little bit. That's my only problem with him, but he's a vertical threat, dude. And I think him and David Njoku and some 12 personnel would look absolutely stunning, especially for Baker Mayfield, who likes to keep his throws close to the line of scrimmage with tight ends. And then they got Donovan Peoples-Jones in the 6th round. I like Donovan Peoples-Jones. He was held back by Shea Patterson a lot at Michigan. Shea Patterson was god awful.
Yeah, he was terrible.
I feel like Donovan Peoples-Jones, he kind of was restricted due to that. But he had decent games against people the likes of Okudah and other top tier Big Ten corners. He didn't absolutely get shut down. He didn't ball out, but he had a decent game against those guys with Shea Patterson playing quarterback. So, and if I have to pick a loser, I would say the Los Angeles Rams are probably my draft losers. I like the Van Jefferson pick in the 2nd round. I think he's a great route runner, all the above. But other than that, you take Cam Akers off the board when I believe he wasn't my best back on the board. I believe Dobbins was there, right? Rug, you guys picked after them, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Dobbins was there.
That Cam Akers pick, absolutely, it was a reach for the position, and it was also a running back in the middle of the 2nd round. So I was not a fan at all of that pick. I think Terrell Lewis in the 3rd round, he has some issues he needs to work out. He's a bit raw. I watched him get dominated by a D3 tackle all week at the Senior Bowl. So, I mean, and their draft didn't fall through the way I think they wanted. And I definitely think they're on a downward slope.
All right, Lukaku, what about you?
I already mentioned mine.
Is that your serious best worst? Or is that what we're sticking
I
with?
was being 100% genuine.
What about a
Can you
team that
tell?
you hate?
The Cowboys.
You
We
seriously
talked
meant
about
that?
Yes. Cowboys suck.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Telling you,
all right.
ESPN's going to call him up after we post this. It's going to happen.
All right, well, let's talk about Hurts to the Eagles.
Oh, no, yes! Let's talk about Hurts to the Eagles, please.
I can start.
That was the best segue of all time.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say it wasn't a great pick. It was probably high, but I trust Doug Peterson. He's a phenomenal coach. I think we all saw him as a Taysom Hill kind of quarterback, and I think Doug Peterson may use him that way. He's a forward-thinking coach.
I can go next. I have a few buddies who are Eagles fans. Absolutely hated the pick. You need to get Carson Wentz help now. What does Jalen Hurts do to help Carson Wentz? He's gonna say you do use him as Taysom Hill. By the way, I don't like. I do like it because he does have a little bit better physical abilities, but he can throw the ball a lot better than Taysom Hill can. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
But even if you do use Jalen Hurts as a Taysom Hill type player, he's on the field for 8% of the plays, 9% of the plays. Get someone to help Carson Wentz. Get a defender. they just lost Malcolm Jenkins. They have holes at linebacker. So I'm looking at their defense, and I look at what Dallas did in this draft, and I'm just asking myself, I'm like, what are you going to do to stop that? Who's covering? Okay, you got Darius Slay. You put him on Amari, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Zeke. Who's tackling Zeke? They have no linebackers. Instead, they go Jalen Hurts, who I believe their philosophy with this pick was, okay, we're drafting a backup quarterback who we can also use as Taysom Hill. But to me, that's just not that's not second round value. You do that fourth, fifth round. I like Jalen Hurts as a player. I think he has some accuracy struggles and he holds onto the ball too long. But I think behind the right quarterback, he could have developed in 3 or 4 years and been a starter. But are you telling me Carson Wentz isn't going to be in Philly in 3 or 4 years? Is that what Philly's thinking?
Well, also, are they thinking that Jalen Hurts is the replacement? That's the real question.
I mean,
is that?
I hope not.
Is Carson retiring in the next couple of years? Do you have some inside info on that?
I mean, would it be out of the question? The injury issues, pulling something close to what Andrew Luck did.
Yeah,
I mean,
not crazy.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
just don't get it.
I think their thought process was Carson Wentz gets hurt so often, and they traded for Marquise Godwin. But I don't like the pick either. Christian Fulton was still on the board. You could have picked a guy like Chase Claypool out of Notre Dame, the 6'4" receiver. I think you could have gotten a backup quarterback in the 3rd, 4th round.
When did the Eagles draft a receiver?
They took Jalen Reagor in the first round, the shitty host.
Okay.
Just so you're aware.
I don't even like that pick either. With Justin Jefferson still on the board, I don't get what they were doing. I think after the 2nd round they had a great draft, but those first 2 rounds, man, for me they really bombed it.
Well, their day 1 and day 2 moves were kind of counterintuitive. They drafted Jalen Reagor, a speedster, and then they traded for Marquise Godwin, another speedster, and they didn't draft their big possession receiver to replace Alshon Jeffrey.
That's my problem. Go ahead, Rugg. I'll go after you.
Yeah, I actually like the Reagor pick. Brett Coleman made a really good point. He said that the Eagles run a ton of RPO, and if you're going to defend RPO, you need at least one safety in the box. And he said that Reagor's speed is going to allow the Eagles to, or kind of punish teams for playing one deep safety. And I think that's an interesting angle. I also think Reagor, one thing interesting about him, he played in an offense at TCU where he was open a lot, and he had PFF said 60% of his passes were uncatchable. So I think he can be a really good player. And even though I like Jefferson, I think that was a good pick. And I actually really like the Hurts pick. I know I'm in the minority on that, but I just think having a game plan for his usage is a nightmare for opposing coaches. I mean, he can come in, that QB power in short yardage situations. If you told me that every 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 is a guarantee with Hurts, I'll take that every day. And there's so many ways you can use him. Doug Peterson's one of the most creative coaches in the NFL. I think it's a valuable pick. I mean, Mark's also right about Wentz having injury issues. I think that's something that can be a factor. And I think Hurts has the chance to become a good quarterback. His biggest weakness, like Dave alluded to, is holding onto the ball too long. And if he corrects that, he's got good arm strength, good accuracy. I think he can become a pretty good quarterback and just a great weapon in the NFL.
You mentioned the Reagor pick and how it's good for their RPO offense. My only problem with that, Rugg, is they have no receivers right now that can run their RPO offense. They have Deshaun Jackson, Jalen Reagor, and Marquise Goodwin, and all 3 of them are speedsters. When they had a perfect chance to take Justin Jefferson, who's perfect for that offense, and would have fit like a glove.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Back to the Hurts pick. I mean, yeah, he does provide. He's a tool. We'll say he's a tool for their offense, obviously. But that defense needs help, man. In the division where Dallas just drafted CeeDee Lamb, and our O line, we're repairing our O line. Like, I don't. It's not registering to me. Like, if that were the 3rd round, I think I would be a little higher on it, probably a lot higher on it. But they had a chance to grab premium talent, and they didn't. They took a backup quarterback who's going to be on the field for like 10% of plays, And I just don't see how that helps them this year if they're trying to win a Super Bowl or win the division.
They lost Malcolm Jenkins and Ronald Darby, and I'm surprised Ashton Davis was still on the board at that point. Christian Fulton, there was still a lot of good corners and safety still on the board. I thought they could have had Jacob Eason in the 3rd, 4th round.
If they were a more complete team, I would have been okay with it, but they need a lot of help. They have a lot of holes on defense. And I think, honestly, they could have doubled up on receiver, and that wouldn't have hurt them too bad. I think that would have been a better idea than what they did.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So you guys want to move on to our special new segment?
No, let's talk about love to Packers first.
I'm down. Love the Packers. Give a few
Yeah.
minutes on that. Mark, you're a
Yeah.
big love guy. Why don't you start?
Well, I was a big love guy, but I don't love the value in the first round to Green Bay, and I don't love Green Bay's draft as a whole. I think he has a chance to succeed, but I don't know. First round, I don't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a good situation for him. I think Jordan Love is the only winner in this situation. We've talked about what we thought our struggles with Love is before, as far as processing the defense, reading it, making reads. I think sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for a few years definitely doesn't hurt for him. Like I said, I think it's the best situation for him. I just don't get what Green Bay is doing. In the best receiver class ever, you need a number 2 receiver, and you don't take one.
Yeah, the Green Bay Packers had by far the worst draft. I think for you, with all the receivers available, Green Bay's receivers after Devontae Adams, and even Adams isn't a burner, they could not get open at all. I mean, and Rodgers has declined a little bit the last couple of years, but I'm almost wondering if they traded up for Love to motivate Rodgers, if that was their kind of sole goal here, try and just get Rodgers fired up.
Even if they didn't want to go receiver in the second round, Josh Jones is still there. Brian Bulaga was a free agent this year. He went to the Chargers. You have so many holes that you could have addressed there. You pick a running back.
Yeah, I agree. AJ Dillon was a terrible pick. There's no reason to take him. I think the fact that they didn't address receiver in the first 2 rounds is inexcusable to me. They needed a burner. They could have easily taken. There were so many guys there. They could have taken a Michael Pittman at the end of the first. They could have taken T. Higgins. They could have taken KJ Hamler, traded down maybe top of the second. There's so many guys that they could have taken to help Aaron Rodgers. I mean, when you have a QB in his prime, or on the back edge of his prime, you've got to go all in at receiver, and I don't understand what they were doing.
Yeah, I agree. Someone said on draft night, Aaron Rodgers has 4 years left on his deal, and Jordan Love has 4 years of a rookie contract with the 5th-year option. What's the plan? Like, did we just draft a backup for his whole rookie deal to sit behind Aaron Rodgers for 4 years?
I think they're going to do something like a Brett Favre situation. After 2 more years, if they see the slightest decline with Aaron Rodgers, I think they're going to trade him or let him go.
I agree with that. I think Green Bay's looking for a reason right now. I think they're because obviously Green Bay. I mean, Aaron Rodgers isn't very liked, and I think we all know that. So I think they're looking for the slightest reason to get rid of him. And now they have that with Jordan Love. If they see, like Mark said, if they see any decline in his play, now they get that reason, and they can be, well, you're gone, and they can shelter that reason out to the fans, and they have what they think to be their guy in Jordan Love. So I guess that's their thought process, but I don't know.
I would have liked Jordan Love to go to a better situation like New Orleans, maybe Tampa Bay in the second round. I know New Orleans has such a good roster. I didn't see them having any holes. I think that would have been the perfect spot for Jordan Love, but they just got Jameis Winston today.
Yeah, no quarterback wants to mentor their replacement. And in Aaron Rodgers' case, he's thinking he's going to play 5 more years. I mean, he sees Tom Brady, who was 5 ticks slower than Rodgers 15 years ago in his prime, let alone now playing at 43. So Rodgers, he's not going anywhere in his mind. I think he's fed up with the Packers already. He didn't like Mike McCarthy. I mean, he would literally just run whatever he wanted when Mike McCarthy would call plays. Now here comes Matt LaFleur, and they got along well last year, but I'd love to see how long that takes. And now the new Packers regime's taking a guy who he probably views as his replacement, whether they view it that way or not. That's what he's thinking right now, and maybe it'll motivate him. Maybe they'll get the best out of him.
There are reports that when Aaron Rodgers gets a play he doesn't like, he doesn't audible the play. He takes the snap and throws the ball away, and he does that a lot. And obviously you have to take that with a grain of salt. But if you look at the stats, he has the highest throwaway percentage in football by a mile. And like, you think,
yeah, it's a good point.
If that's the case, you think someone like that is going to mentor their future replacement? Like, come on.
Yeah. And the other thing I was going to say is you're telling me you're drafting a dude in the first round, banking on Aaron Rodgers, one of the best QBs in the NFL, to decline. Like that's our first round philosophy. Like
Yeah, you're in win now mode. Why are you taking a pick that's not a win now pick?
yeah,
There's so many guys that could. The Packers were 13-3 last season. I mean, they
They were in the
drafted like
NFC
they were.
Championship. They were
Exactly.
in the NFC Championship.
Well,
What are they doing?
I don't think they were as good as people thought they were. I mean, the NFC North was garbage last year with Mitchell Trubisky with the Bears. He was a trash can. They had to bring in Nick Foles to replace him. He was so bad.
Yeah, that's a good
yeah.
point.
But that being said, but what's changed, Mark? Like what's changed?
Nothing's
like, they're
changed.
Still, yeah, exactly. So they're still going to be good. So you're talking about they need to fill.
Well, Matthew
holes.
Stafford is back this year. He missed all of last year with the back.
But nobody goes to the NFC Championship game and says, "Oh crap, we shouldn't have gotten there. We got lucky here and here and here." I mean, it's almost like that's what they did.
Well, to Mark's point, their goal isn't to win the NFC North; it's to win a Super Bowl. So
that's what Rug's saying, though.
Yeah, exactly. To Mark and Reg's point, like to the question Zach asked, I don't. It's mind-boggling what Matt LaFleur and that ownership is doing. I don't know.
Yeah, they
You get Aaron Rodgers a big play receiver, and I think he gives you.
They didn't even draft a receiver, right?
No,
did they?
No, they didn't. Not one.
They drafted like they were rebuilding.
In the best receiver class we have seen in a while.
They could have even gotten KJ Hill in the 5th round.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing.
Yeah, F grade, worst draft. If I was a Packers fan, I'd be pretty upset. I mean, I know they're used to just falling into quarterbacks like they did with Rodgers and Favre, and Packers fans are used to good quarterback play, but that doesn't mean that works every time. I mean, you can't just swing for the fences in the first round when you have a quarterback who's in a team in win now mode and expect to get your quarterback situation worked out for the next 20 years.
I agree. All right, well, I don't know what this little special bit is. I was requested to put it in. I'm kind of nervous. I understand.
All right, I'd like to introduce it.
Well, you should be nervous.
So,
shh, Mark.
For here, we just shit on Zach for his lack of football knowledge, but our audience doesn't really know how bad it is. So what we have done here, we have prepared a very simple 10-question NFL quiz for Zach, and he should, if he is even a half decent NFL fan, he should get all of these right. So we're gonna see where it is. So Zach, can we count on you not to cheat on your computer? Or do I need to FaceTime you and check?
No, I'm not cheating. I'm not cheating.
You promise?
I have faith in Zach. I have more faith than they do.
Well, we'll be able to tell. So number one, we'll probably hear him
hilarious.
typing. Number two, he's not gonna have time. This should be instant. Like it's not a math problem.
If they're not instant, Zach, we're gonna know.
I'm not gonna cheat.
We'll give him 5 seconds to answer every question.
Yeah.
If not, we're moving on.
So who wants to start? We're gonna switch off asking questions, all 4 of us. Anyone? Okay, I'll start.
I'll start it off.
Okay.
What is Dwayne Haskins' jersey number?
12.
No.
Okay. That's your franchise quarterback, Zach? You don't know Dwayne Haskins?
I don't like Dwayne Haskins.
So Zach does not know. Zach does not know his starting quarterback's jersey number.
Okay. Sometimes you miss it. It's fine.
What is it?
Sorry, it's a fluke. It's a fluke.
It's a fluke.
I was gonna say
7.
8. I was gonna say 8. I was gonna say 8.
7.
All right, Rod, go ahead. Ask the next one.
All right. So, which team in an NFL game? Which team wears the light uniforms, and which team wears the dark uniforms?
Away wears light.
All right. Good job.
Okay, you got us there. The next one is, who was the most famous New York Jets quarterback? Very famous quarterback.
Oh, Jesus. He doesn't know.
We're going to go in and we're going to beat him, Zach. We're going to go in and we're going to beat him.
Oh, my God.
Famous for calling his Super Bowl victory.
I don't know.
I mean, Mark just gave him the answer. He still doesn't know?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Joe Namath, baby. Yeah. I can't believe Zach didn't know
Joe Namath is, Zach?
Yes, QB for the Jets.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, now you do.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Well, now everyone knows why he's the host.
Yeah. All right. We got a few more. He can make it. He can save himself. Dave, next question.
Do
you have him open?
Where did RG3 go to college, Zach?
Taylor.
Okay, he
We
got
didn't even
that
have
one.
that on our list. That was on our list.
That's not on our list of questions, Dave. But
All right, so Dave doesn't have the right list.
that's
So
all
I
right.
guess
I'll go.
we'll
Yeah,
go
we'll
next.
knock
just
down
leave
on.
Dave out, obviously.
Yeah, we'll
as a
leave
no.
Dave out of it.
Why? Because Dave's asking questions I can get answers right to. Like I don't give
No,
a
that
fuck
wasn't in
about
our final draft.
No, that wasn't our list of questions. Dave was just giving the practice question midway through for the
All right,
fuck
Mark,
of it.
ask the next question.
All right, which two teams are tied for the most Super Bowls?
The Steelers and is it the Cowboys?
No, it's the Patriots. It's the Steelers and
The
Patriots. They both have
Steelers and
6.
Patriots. Okay. I knew it was the Steelers because I knew it was the Steelers.
All right, here. All right, Zach, how many Super Bowls do the Redskins have? Your team.
3 or 4.
Oh my god. Or
Which
4,
one?
it's 3.
3. Okay, it's 3.
Okay, and
He said
who,
3.
who coached in all
Three.
3 of
He said
those?
3.
I also know the last one was when everyone decided not to play. So
Valid point.
Well, he's got that
He's-
right.
Great argument. Great argument.
Valid
Reds-
point.
I mean, I can't blame him for
Well,
not
we
knowing
did have-
Super Bowls.
I mean,
He's actually
but the
not
Hogs-
right
but the
because the
Hogs-
last Super Bowl he won was against Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills. The strike year was the Denver Broncos Super Bowl, so he's wrong
I
again.
can't blame anyone for not knowing Redskins Super Bowls. They're pretty irrelevant.
He's the
But
fan of the
go on.
team.
I also haven't been alive for them to win. So
Good trash your own team.
Okay, so who was their coach for all 3 of those Super Bowls?
Jesus Christ.
The most known Redskins head coach in the NFL
Of
in
all
history.
time,
He
Hall
also
of
does
Famer.
NASCAR.
Joe Gibson.
It's Gibbs, but Joe Gibbs, not Gibson.
I knew
my
Joe,
God.
I was gonna say Joe Gibbs the whole time, but I felt like it was
Oh,
too
yeah,
easy.
you're
I was
It
alive
was-
while Joe. But no, I was. But Joe Gibbs was a coach while I was alive, so I was
Benefit
like,
of the doubt. Benefit of the doubt.
All right, benefit of the doubt. That's
Whatever,
fine. We'll give
dude.
him the benefit of the doubt.
So what am I?
I mean-
What am I? 6 for 8? Or,
No,
yeah.
you got
You
one
are-
right.
I'm like
you
5.5 for
six.
8.
I'm pretty.
Yeah, you're like 1.
I'm 5.5 for 8. I'm like 5.5 for 8.
No,
Dude,
you're
Zach
not.
I got half
Zach
the
just
the
repeats
Steelers
the
question.
Zach just
right.
repeats the correct answer. It's
No,
like
the only 2 I got wrong. No, the only 2 I got wrong. No, the only 2 I got wrong.
Oh my god.
This is
The only 2 I
You have a
got
few
wrong
more,
were the
Zach.
first
You can
question
save
and the
yourself.
Jets
You can save
question.
yourself.
I'm setting this straight right now. The only 2 I got wrong were the Jets question and the first question. And then I
No,
got
you
half
got
the
every
Super
question
Bowl.
wrong except the dark uniforms.
Yeah.
What are you
No,
talking
No,
about?
I've said every answer.
No, you haven't. You got
Yeah,
that.
the Cowboys had the most Super Bowls.
No, yeah, that's why I gave myself a half.
No, you don't
I
get a half
gave
for
the
that.
Steelers.
You don't.
This
You do
isn't-
not get a half for that.
It's not math class, motherfucker. You don't get partial credit.
I've gotten 4.5 out of 7.
No, you
correct.
have not.
And we give you the answer and you repeat it.
He said
Like
3
3
or
or
4, and he
4?
said Joe Gibson. So I don't even, that should be
That's
0.
like-
all right,
That's
sorry,
like
sorry,
circling
so
true and false on a
I got
All right,
test.
let's go. Let's. We have a few more. We have a few more.
All right.
Rug.
Name 2 teams that Terrell Owens played on.
The Cowboys. I don't know another one. I know the Cowboys.
There was another one on the NFC East. Let's see if you can get it.
The Eagles.
There you go. There you go.
I mean, are we counting that? We're giving him hints.
We'll give, that's a
All
half.
right,
point.
we'll give him
That's a
another half.
We'll give him a
point.
half
That's a
point
half
for that one.
What? I mean, yeah, I'll take the half.
All right,
because I
one
didn't know
question on his own so
All right.
far. Out of
Is
7.
someone recording how many he's gotten right?
One
Yes,
out
I've gotten 5. I've gotten 5 out of 8.
no,
No,
you got-
Yes, I have. Go
He
back
had
and
one
watch
right.
it.
How many questions you've got right?
There's been 7 questions, moron. What do you mean 5 out of 8?
Then 4 out of 7.
You've
I've
gotten
gotten 4
one right. You're 1 out of 7, and
No,
we've
I
given
haven't.
you half credit for 2.
Oh,
All right, we'll give you. We'll call it 2.5 out of 7
Yeah.
for half credit.
7.
Sorry,
Alright.
so
Which ones did I get right, Rug?
you got the light dark uniforms totally right. You said
Yes.
the Cowboys are the most Super Bowls, so that's
No.
wrong.
I got a half point there. This is
Fine, we'll give
Steelers.
you a half point. You
Okay, so
said
that's-
Joe
I'm pretty sure-
Gibson coached the
Okay, so that's
Redskins
one.
to 3 or 4
That's the
Super
right
Bowls.
That's
right.
Joe
Gibbs.
Gibson.
Joe Gibbs, whatever. Joe Gibbs Racing. Yeah, I know that.
Let's
I already
roll
know.
with a 3 out of 7. I'll roll with a 3
Yeah,
out of
3 out of
7.
7. I'll
Alright,
roll
3
right.
out
We'll
of
give him
7.
3. We'll give him
Still
3 out of
pathetic
7.
anyway, so we'll let him
All
answer
right,
that.
what team did Bill Belichick? Wait, you have there's two options. Which team did Bill Belichick coach before the Patriots?
Immediately before.
Okay, immediately before.
I got no clue. I don't
Oh
fucking
my
know.
god.
It's the Cleveland Browns, everybody.
We would have accepted the Giants as well because he was
Oh,
their.
fuck.
We'll give you a
Or-
10th of
or
a point for your
guess.
honesty.
Yeah.
I
All
don't
right,
fucking
Mark.
know. Fucking care.
All right. Which
Asking me all these
coach
past
led
questions.
John Elway to 2 Super Bowls?
Also coached the Redskins in your lifetime.
Fuck. Yeah, I know this, but I'm.
Give him a
fuck.
second to Google real
He's
quick.
looking. Yeah, he's looking.
No,
Yep.
I'm not looking it up. John
I
Elway
trust
on the
him.
Broncos.
I
I
trust
know
him.
who it was. I
Let him
can get.
think.
I have
He
the.
coached RG3.
Yes, he coached.
I mean, now you just
yes.
gave him the answer. He doesn't get it at this point.
His
No,
son
I honestly-
coaches the 49ers.
Okay.
Oh,
His first name is
Mike
Mike.
Shanahan. Mike Shanahan.
All right. Which one? These two are kind of hard. I don't think Zach will get either of these.
These are easy. You should get this,
All
but
right,
he
Zach.
won't.
Okay, Rugg,
Who won the
you.
first ever Super Bowl? It was 100 years. So
You're asking me pastime questions like I know.
I mean,
Like,
it
I-
was
I-
the
My
100-year
God.
anniversary this year. It was like talked about all over.
You've
the
gotten
place.
every question wrong. That's just a pass question.
The Packers.
Packers,
That's
and
right.
who is the coach to that team?
Lombardi. That's what I
Oh,
told
there we
Lombardi.
go.
Yeah. All right.
So we're
Yeah,
giving
all
Zach a solid 2 out of 10.
No, he's up to 3. He's up. No, he's
Well,
up.
He's
No,
at
we,
4.
I already had
He's at
three.
4.
we gave him we gave him 3 to be kind, so we'll give him a 4 out of 9 so far. Sorry,
All
I'm
right,
gonna.
Mark.
Here's the last question.
Yeah, I guess the last one.
Which team did John Madden win a Super Bowl with? Which team did he coach?
The Bears.
That's Mike Ditka.
Jacob, I hope you're listening to that one.
Not
That's
a-
Mike
I
Ditka.
mean,
That's
not a bad
fair.
guess if you don't know it.
Dude,
I think
what
that's.
do
I
you
think
mean?
it's really. If you don't know it, it's not a bad guess. If you
They
don't
give
know
him
it, it's not a
0.2
bad guess.
points for like a good guess. I mean, this is the easiest fucking grading I've ever seen. He says like 1 correct answer. Legitimately, we're giving him 3.5 out
What
of
do
10.
you? Oh my god.
I mean, this just shows why Zach's the host. I mean, for the people that were questioning why it is what it is, I mean, that's it. Right
I thought
there.
Zach would get at least 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I said 2 or
I'm
3. And
shocked.
it seemed like I was right up there.
Like he just proved Luke right again.
Well, I
He's
mean, I was
awful,
shocked
so
you didn't even
you're
know
an
how many
asshole for
Super
that.
Bowls the Redskins had. I mean, that's
I
just
said
shocking.
3.
You said 3
and
or 4.
I second guessed myself. I said 3, and then I said 3 or 4. We can
So-
go back and listen.
No,
if
you
want
said
to.
3
I
or
don't-
4 first.
I don't blame Zach for the non-Redskins questions. My problem with that, Zach, is the Redskins questions. I really just need you to. Get
He's a
down pat.
Redskins fan. How do you have no knowledge of any history of your
We
favorite
know
team?
even like your quarterback. It's the quarterback.
Look at all the Redskins
Random numbers,
questions.
sure,
Guys,
but
Dwayne Haskins
you
number.
see how
I don't
it's the
give a fuck
quarterback.
about
If you
Dwayne
watch a
Haskins.
Redskins game, it's
Suck.
drilled into your head. He's
Like, I
there every
promise
play,
you-
or half the
I
plays.
promise you, 50% of football fans who watch football on Sunday wouldn't have gotten the Jets one. Maybe 40% of football fans. Probably the
No, if you're a Jets fan, you know who Joe Namath
maybe.
is.
I could give
Maybe-
you Santana Moss's number. I could give you Champ Bailey's number.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You
I
can't
could
add
give you Sean Taylor's number.
You can't add questions
you
to
know
the quiz.
RG3's number, Zach?
No, he
Oh,
doesn't.
no.
Whatever.
Jesus Christ.
Oh
All
no!
right, Zach, here's what we'll do. We're gonna give Zach a bonus question.
I have
And-
I have another one after that. So go ahead.
All right, 2 more questions.
All right, here's a bonus question for Zach. What round was Tony Romo drafted in?
That's
I
too
don't
hard. That's
fucking
way
know.
too hard.
I don't
That's hard.
care.
Yeah, that's bad.
He was
All right,
undrafted.
It was a
Alright,
trick
fine,
I was
question,
gonna say.
Zach.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's a- I mean, it's a-
seven.
it's a-
I was gonna say
hard.
seven.
That's
It's a
too
bonus
hard.
I knew
question.
Tony Ro-
It's a bonus
Tony
question.
Romo was
I have
late.
an
I was
actual
gonna say
bonus question. Who's the best quarterback ever to play in the NFL?
Russell Wilson.
There it is. Correct.
Oh my
Correct.
God! He
There it is.
actually said Russell Wilson.
Oh
I
my
think just-
god.
I think just on base what Luke was looking for right there, Zach just redeemed himself. He answered.
Exactly
He
what I
answered
was looking
Zach.
for Russell Wilson.
Zach knows
All right,
more
well,
about Luke than football.
Well, we,
all right,
we know
can
that
we get on
leash.
to
We knew that
Ron's
leash
corner?
was tight, but we
Can we-
didn't expect it to be that tight.
Oh, Mark, did Luke let you out of your kennel yet? I didn't
Get
hear
him,
the
Zach.
trade unlock.
Get him, Zach! Yeah, yeah.
Damn,
Zach put a
Mark,
new
get
electric fence for Mark.
Get
Luke, you want a
bitched,
coffee? I'm sure Mark will bring you it if you need it.
Mark. I'd like a coffee.
All right, can we get on the Rugs corner, please?
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Ladies and
please.
gentlemen,
Yeah,
this
All right,
is the
Rugs corner.
time.
Yeah,
It's the
here's
worst
it
segment
now,
of the
dude.
day.
It's the worst part of the. Yeah, I'm ready to end.
Let's-
What?
Let's go,
Just
Rug.
hurry it up, Rug.
Rug, you
Yeah,
got
ladies
let me
and
just
gentlemen.
let me just finish this boring ass part of the podcast real quick. Okay. All right. Go ahead, bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one lady listening, this is the time we've all been waiting for. Welcome into the second edition of Rug's Corner. Today, we are going to be talking about how sports talk radio came to be what it is today.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
Christ.
Dude, come on.
In the late 1980s, sports
So
talk
they-
radio was very novel. It was very nationally based. You didn't have local radio shows as you do today.
This
And
is what
then-
they played at Prisoners of War.
And then here came WFAN in New York.
Oh,
there-
Jackson!
We can just glance over that.
And at that point,
That's piss poor.
WFAN hired Mike Francesa and Chris Russo. They got a show. It took off. All the other areas of the country followed as the 90s went through the 2000s. And then 2008 came, and guess what happened? You'll never guess what
No one
happened.
cares. Nobody cares. Nobody who's listening cares.
They broke up. You got it. They broke up. So their shows separated.
People interested in this? Like,
Yeah, there's-
people like
Everyone's turned off by now. There's
Their
zero
shows-
people watching.
We'll be
this.
sure to leave
Their
a
sh-
timestamp so everyone can skip over this part.
Their shows separated. And
Luke
from
text you to say that,
2008
Mark?
to 2019, Mike Francesa did his own show on WFAN. Christopher Mad Dog Russo worked at Sirius XM Sports Radio, and both great shows. Very
I can
awesome
I can-
dudes.
I can just imagine Rugg sitting in a chair behind a screen, like with a half glass of whiskey and some glasses on, doing research on this.
He didn't need to do research. He knows this by heart.
Too much effort. Are you done, Rug?
I'm done.
Okay.
No
thank
research.
God. All right, Zach, just get us out of here. Let's fucking get on with
All
it.
right. Well, thank you guys for listening to this podcast. You guys will be hearing this on Tuesday, 4/28.
Yeah, it is already
And-
Tuesday, buddy. You fucking moron.
Get him, Zach! Get him, Zach! Yeah! Yeah!
I think that was an original comment. I mean, that wasn't the greatest. I'll give that to Mark. Good job, Mark. You got 1 point today. Good
Oh. Did you just submit?
job.
Yeah.
No, I'll
I
give
mean,
Mark
he's used
1
to
point.
that.
Mark can have
So
1.
I was kind
Oh,
of expecting
dude.
that.
All right, Luke, tighten the collar. Put the training collar back on.
Okay,
All
let's
right,
go.
group,
Let's
it's
go.
end the podcast. Come on.
All right. All right. Thank you for listening. This is our 3rd episode. Please be sure to leave a subscribe.
Leave a
Oh, fuck.
subscribe. All right.
Be sure to subscribe. And
Everyone leave
thank
a
you guys.
subscribe.
Have a wonderful rest of your night. Mark, shut the fuck up.